Hey everybody, hey, come on in here, come on in here. Oh my, let's make sure the lighting is good. Oh my gosh, come on in here. You all see the topic today. And I will tell you that I am absolutely just ecstatic really around the outrageous response. I mean, like outrageously good responses we've been getting from these topics, like around relationships and things that take us beyond the realm of just defining success through a picture on money, or just defining success through financial success or professional success, because what we all know to be true, and if you don't know this to be true, trust me, it will sink in at some point in time within your life, that success goes beyond money. It goes beyond money. Success, true success, really does come down to being able to be happy and whole and fulfilled within every part of your life. Money is just one part of it. So that's why we have expanded our topics to be able to cover so many areas. So I see you, Julia, Michael, Diane, I see Joy, I see you all. Come on in here. You all know the drill. Go ahead and click like and click share. You see the topic. I'm going to be sharing with you 3 lessons that I learned from, frankly, having my heart broken. It was a breakup, right? I'm going to share these with you, and I'm going to tell you why I'm sharing this with you, because I had a viewer write in, and she asked me, she says, I'm going through a breakup right now, and I am searching for every lesson I can find in it, but I'm having a hard time finding those lessons. Unfortunately, I journal. So I decided I was going to actually go to my own journal, because whenever I am going through something, I always write it in my journal. And I went back in the vault. So I'm not going to show y'all everything. I went back, far back. And you can even see how old this is. Look how dirty this thing is. I went far back to find a lesson that I wrote to myself. And I remember I wrote out a couple of them. I'm going to pull out 3 lessons that I learned from a breakup that, frankly, at the time was devastating to me. It was absolutely devastating to me. If you've ever been through any form of a breakup, let me tell you this. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much success you have. It doesn't matter how many people know your name. Doesn't matter at all. We all experience broken hearts in a very similar way. So y'all come on in here. I see Wendy. I see all of y'all. Come on in here. And I want you all to make sure that you are watching this. I'm going to go through this. It will not be long, but I guarantee you it will be impactful. All right. And I want to thank Stephanie, one of my clients, Stephanie in Indiana. Thank you so much, because I talked to her earlier today. And I was like, so how you liking the new topics? And she's like, I love them. She said, keep on doing them. I'm going to be mad if you stop doing them. I was like, okay, Stephanie. All right, Stephanie. I'm glad you like them. Hey, Barbara. All right, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump right on in. So as I mentioned, for those of y'all who are just getting in here, I'm going to be covering 3 lessons that I learned, frankly, from a broken heart, from a breakup. This is something I think we can all relate to. All right, so let me give you some backstory even on this particular relationship, right? And for those folks who are in my life, because, I never, ever want to make anyone out to be a bad person in any way, shape, or form. So I'm not going to give any specific timelines in any way, because I don't want folks in my life like, oh, is that who did that to you? And we're not going to go into all that. It's about the lessons, not about the person, all right? So this happened. This is a breakup that happened about, let's just say, a while ago. And when I tell you, when I first met him, I was just absolutely, what do the folks say? They say smitten, right? I was smitten. I mean, physical attraction. He was gorgeous. I'm not very tall, all right? So everyone's taller than me, right? So me saying he was taller than me just really doesn't mean much. But picture, he's tall, just gorgeous. Just eyes that could captivate you. I mean, when he spoke, he could speak in such a way where I was like, oh my God, he could read the phone book to me. And I'm like, really? I was just smitten. And I think that more than anything else, what I loved so much was that we were able to have amazing conversations. It was amazing conversations about everything from life to spirituality to everything. It was just absolutely amazing. And we wanted some of the same things out of life. It was just one of those things where you're like, wow, this feels so refreshing. You know, when you meet someone, you say, wow, this feels refreshing. It felt refreshing, right? And so for me, like many people, when you meet someone that feels refreshing and you feel like, wow, this may be the person who is going to be able to give me an experience that can make me forget every other experience that I didn't like from before, that can make me forget every other broken heart that I've ever had before, you jump right in, right? So I jumped in and I gave my full self. I'm a monogamous kind of guy, so I committed and wasn't seeing anybody else. Was really giving my full energy there because I felt like I don't know. I thought maybe I found the one. Well, inevitably, because it didn't work out. I'm single today. It didn't work out. And I will tell you that in it not working out and me having to deal with that, in the aftermath, I went through a lot of pain, a lot of sadness. But I will tell you what it did was it opened my eyes and it helped me to take the blinders off my eyes to be able to see things that I was ignoring within all of my infatuation and within all of my vigor of a new relationship. It allowed me to see things that I was not able to see for all that time that I was with him. So I chose to help me work through this. By going ahead and writing down some lessons that I said, if I had this, I kind of do my journals in this particular way. I write to myself almost as if I'm talking to myself in the past. So if I was able to read this, would it have helped me before I got into this situation? So it's a very cathartic way, almost like writing a letter to myself. So I wrote down lessons from my own past. I wrote down some lessons that I thought would have been helpful. So I want you all to pay attention to this. And this is helpful to anyone. If you've ever gone through any kind of relationship ending, if you've ever gone through anything like that, this is helpful information. And if it can't apply to you, then you share this with that friend or anyone like that. As I mentioned before, success is not just about financial success. It's not just about that, right? Success is around holistically being able to live in a way that makes us feel happy and makes us feel whole. And I will tell you that if your relationships and if your relationship with yourself is not in a place that is whole, right, it affects other parts of your life. And if your home relationships or your romantic relationships as well are not healthy, and you're not approaching those in a healthy way, it's going to affect other parts of your life. So this is about me sharing information that can help you to holistically look at your life, not just at your bank account, because I am a whole person. And my lessons come from all parts of my life. So to that viewer who wrote in, that even prompted this video, and I thank you for writing in, to that viewer where she asked, what are some lessons that can be learned from breakup? Here's my first one. I feel like I need some glasses here. Let me grab some glasses, y'all, because I need to see this. My handwriting is not fantastic at all, so I need to be able to actually see. Okay, so here's the first lesson. All right, accept what you see. Accept what you see, all right? Alvin says, got it, all right? So accept what you see. What I mean by that is this. When you're in any form of a relationship, I think one of the quickest recipes for creating a broken heart is, or I should say inviting in a broken heart, is when you don't accept what you see. You have to, as Maya Angelou would say, believe people when they show you who they are the first time. And that's, sometimes we talk about that statement, we think of it from a negative standpoint of, oh, when you see negative stuff, pay attention to that. I'm talking about all things, good and bad, as well as things that are fairly benign that really mean nothing. Pay attention to all that stuff. One of the things I think a lot of people do, and this is a mistake that I made repeatedly, was that probably throughout most of my 20s, and I'm glad that this relationship really helped me to kind of wrap up that period of time in my life to really help lock this lesson in, was that I often would choose to be in relationship with people based on the potential that I saw within them rather than based on the reality of who they actually were, right? So because I saw potential that, oh, they may not be a great communicator today. That's right, click like and click share because y'all can identify that. In fact, if you can identify with that one, click like and click share, right? Because if I did it and you identify with it too, then other people identify with it as well. But I would say, okay, I know you're not a great communicator, but eventually you will be. Maybe if I kind of help you out a little bit and I kind of show you a better way, you'll eventually get to that point. Or I know that you got this issue. I can, maybe I can help and support you to become a better person. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about when you are in relationship with someone's potential. The challenge with being in relationships with someone's potential is that you are in relationship with a figment of your own imagination, because their potential exists in your mind often doesn't exist in their mind at all. Now, am I saying that you have to find a perfect person and you can only be in relationships with people who are exactly what you need them to be and there's no growing happening? No, not at all. We all are growing, we all are developing. But here's the thing about potential. Potential, right, is only something that you attach to if that person sees the same potential for themselves, and on top of that, they are actively working towards that potential for themselves as well. Just because you see that person being able to live at a certain level or operate in a certain way or handle their emotions in a certain way or deal with you in a certain way, that means nothing unless that person sees the same thing for themselves and they are actively and consistently doing the work in order to accomplish that for themselves. All right? Your potential that you see with them means nothing. It's a figment of your imagination. It is a fantasy, frankly, if that person is not actively working to accomplish that same level of potential within their own life. If they're working to become that thing and they're working to meet their full potential and they see it and their potential is something that they've identified for themselves, not something you've told to them, right? That's a whole other thing, right? They need to be operating towards achieving that because that's what they want for themselves, not just to keep you, right? Unless that's the case, just understand that person is, frankly, it's going to be an expiration date on their ability to continue working towards that. At a certain point in time, they're going to give up on trying to achieve that potential that you're projecting onto them, because frankly, it's not what they want for themselves. Change is hard. Change is extremely hard on any level. Changing how you deal with your money, changing how you deal with your emotions, changing how you deal with the relationships. It's very hard because who we are is the product of various patterns that have happened in our life. If you look at how you deal with relationships today, it's more than likely you're going to see patterns in how you deal with relationships today in how you dealt with relationships yesterday, and so on. So the change is a conscious effort that's often challenging. So when you are in a relationship with someone and you're not willing to accept what you see because you're so focused on the potential of who they can become, you really are setting yourself up for a potential broken heart, because like I said, that person likely is not going to become what you envision for them because it's not something that they buy into. I want you to ask yourself this question if ever you're in this situation where you feel like you're in a relationship with someone's potential, or you are hoping for someone to change or whatever. And for some of y'all, you are in relationships right now, and this may kind of hit home, all right? And like Madison just said, I love it, says, you can't change anyone. We can't change people at all. So I want you to think about this. Picture the person that you're in a relationship with. My mother actually gave me this lesson. I got a couple nuggets from her. So she says, picture the person you're in a relationship with. And at the time, we were talking about the guy I was in a relationship with. And she says, I want you to picture him. She says, I want you to project out 5 years from now. Now picture every single quality and every single trait that he has today. How he deals with communication, how he deals with every single part of his own life, and how he deals with you. If no part of him changes, if he's the exact same person 5 years from now, how would you feel about that thought? Well, when she said that to me, I was mortified at the idea. I was like, ooh, what you telling me? He ain't going, well, you mean never change? She says, yeah. If he never changed one thing about himself and you jump ahead 5 years and you're in a relationship still and he's still the same person, how would you feel about that? And I was like, I would not like that. He needs to change this, and this. She says, you can't be in a relationship with somebody that's contingent on them changing. If your happiness in your relationship is contingent on them changing, then you are in a relationship with their potential. You're not in a relationship with them. The only way to be in a relationship that's healthy and whole is to accept what you see in that person now, and then to decide, is this person exactly as they are today? Is this a person that I could be satisfied with being in a relationship with forever? That doesn't mean it's perfect, right? But can the stuff that bothers me, is that stuff I can tolerate, or is it a deal breaker? Because if the person that they are today is a person that you couldn't be with 5 years from now, then understand that this is not the relationship for you, all right? That's just the bottom line. So that's the first lesson. Accept what you see. Here's the second lesson. Now, this was a big one for me, all right? Don't discount your value just because the other person doesn't see your value, all right? I'm going to repeat that. Don't discount your value just because the other person does not see your value. This isn't just about romantic relationships. This is in every single relationship, all right? Sometimes we can get so focused on what we want to get out of a relationship, so focused on what we want to get out of it, that in some cases, it's so easy to slip into trying to bend to accommodate what that other person is capable of giving or how that other person sees us. As we bend for that rather than standing firm and saying, no, this is what I want. This is what I need. This is what I deserve. And I'm not going to decrease my value. I'm not going to minimize my wants. I'm not going to try to dilute my deal breakers just to accommodate the fact that you don't have the same value system as me, or that more importantly, that you don't value me in the same way. Let's take it deep. Let's take it deep. You got a whole lot of people who you're built for monogamous, loving relationships that are built on a foundation of commitment and growth. But yet, the person who you may be in a relationship with says, I'm not ready to really commit. I'm not about that kind of life. Or I just want to have my options. I want to do that and the other. And you trying to figure out, well, maybe I can see it differently. Or maybe that communication is very important to you. And whenever there's a problem that comes up, you want to jump right in and deal with it. You want to nip it in the bud. You don't want to go to sleep upset about something. But this person shuts down and doesn't want to talk about anything. Well, that's a beautiful value that you have, that you're able to commit and be monogamous. That's a beautiful value that you have, that you're able to communicate through things. And you shouldn't have to diminish your value in that area or diminish your wants, needs, and desires to accommodate someone else based on where they are. That doesn't make the person deficient. It doesn't make them a bad person. It just means that they have a different value system than you. And you have to recognize that the desires that you have, the desire for, if you want whatever type of committed relationship, the desires that you have to be able to communicate in a certain way, the desires that you have to be able to have a forward-moving relationship that's progressing and not just standing stagnant and still waiting on someone else to catch up to you, that those desires are a reflection of your value. That's a reflection that you are capable of committing, you are capable of loving, you are capable of communicating, you are capable of building a happy and healthy relationship. And just because someone else is not able to accommodate doing the same thing, that doesn't in any way mean that you need to diminish or minimize your own value or your wants and desires in order to accommodate that person. If you have to diminish, minimize, or outright ignore key parts of your own value system and your wants and desires in order to keep someone in your life, in order to keep from rocking the boat or keep that person from checking out, so to speak, then you need to check yourself at that point in time. Because here's what I believe, that I believe in abundance in every single part of my life. From financial abundance, I believe in abundance when it comes to relationships, business relationships, romantic relationships. It doesn't matter. And so for me, what I truly do believe is that if I know within my heart that there are a multitude of people out there who are able and willing to accommodate meeting me where I'm at and vice versa, why would I give my energy to trying to change myself and shapeshift myself to accommodate someone who frankly just isn't at my level? And when I say not at my level, it's not a negative thing, but just saying they're not able to operate at the level that you need them to operate at in order to get to the destination that you want to get to. Why would you hold on to that? And I ask people this very often. If you knew that there was someone out there who could give you the type of relationship that you want, who can meet your every desire. They may not be perfect, but they can certainly meet you where you are, right? If you knew that person existed, and not just one person existed, that many people out there exist in that way, would you still hold on to someone who you clearly see doesn't see your value, who you clearly see doesn't have the same value system as you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You would transition. You would do whatever you need to do for yourself in order to put yourself in a position to be able to get what you want. So again, it's never a negative reflection on anyone. But at the end of the day, when I got the viewer letter, I said to myself, that's one thing that I think that so many people overlook, really do overlook, which is that there's nothing wrong with having a different value system or being in a different place than where someone is than you are. Where you get into trouble is when you try to hold on and disregard the fact that, holding on really is just keeping you from being able to release yourself to actually grab hold of what you actually do desire and deserve. So that goes into my final lesson. Terrence said that's confirmation. All right, I'm glad it's confirmation. Terrence, click like and click share. Make sure somebody else gets that confirmation too. Okay? So here's the third one. And again, I'm sharing lessons that I learned from a breakup, and from my own journal, all right? And I've journaled for years. I mean, probably I've journaled since I was 14, but I have kept journals. So every single breakup, everything I've ever gone through, good and bad, it is in one of the journals around here. And so for this one, I said, I'm going to share a lesson, and this is a lesson I've learned repeatedly, to be quite honest. But this is really it. Y'all ready for it? Are y'all ready for it? Letting go. So letting go can be an act of self-love. Actually, letting go is, in my opinion, the ultimate act of self-love. I think that one of the most damaging things we can ever do is hold on to something that's no longer serving us. That's just the bottom line. I've seen so many people, hold on to relationships for years and years and years beyond its expiration date. Both people have checked out a long time ago. And they're holding on because they believe that they're avoiding the pain that comes with letting go. But here's the reality. You're already in pain holding on to what's no longer serving either of you all. In some cases, it's outright destructive for both of you all. That's holding you back from living at your highest level, right? I don't know about you all, but I don't necessarily know that reincarnation is a thing. I don't know if it's real or not. I have no idea, right? I was raised in the Baptist church. In the Baptist church, they didn't tell us about reincarnation, okay? And so with that said, I'm under the belief that this is all I got, this one life to live, right? So if this is all I got, then at a certain point in time, I'm going to have an expiration date here on this earth, right? I don't know what's going to happen after that. So if I know that every day that I pass, I'm not going to be able to get back, there's no minute, no hour I can ever get back, then I'm doing myself a disservice to hold on to anything, romantic, professional, anything that's no longer serving me, right? And for me personally, this lesson really hit home, because what I realized was that I was holding on because I was afraid of the pain of a breakup, when really and truly the pain of a breakup was far less compared to the pain of continuously holding on to something that no longer serves you. Let me tell you this. I have a concept around pain, right? There are two types of pain, and I have a video that's coming out about this, so y'all get ready for it. Okay, so there are two types of pain that exist: passive pain and productive pain. Passive pain is the type of pain that you have, which is, it's not always a physical pain, it's more of a mental pain, right? When you are holding on to something that no longer serves you, really, really, really. So when you think about it, staying in a relationship that doesn't work for you, staying in a job that no longer is serving you, doing things that are not allowing you to live at your highest level, the pain of discontentment, that's the pain that can go on forever. It literally has no expiration date on it whatsoever, because as long as you continue to stay attached to that thing that's not serving you, that pain will continue. You can certainly do things to help try to minimize that pain. I mean, people use sex, they use all kinds of things within the concepts of relationships to be able to distract away from that pain, right? But at the end of the day, the pain is the same, right? You keep on saying, this thing isn't getting better. I'm not feeling any better. I'm feeling held down and held back. That's passive pain. It can go on as long as you allow yourself to stay attached to that thing that's not serving you anymore. But then there's something called productive pain, right? Productive pain is the type of pain that comes with a breakup. This is the kind of pain that you want, all right? Because productive pain has an expiration date on it, right? It's the pain of letting someone go, saying, you know what? I love you, baby, but I love myself even more. And I gotta push away from it. I gotta push away to do what's best for me. It's the pain of not picking up the phone. It's the pain of going through heartbreak. But let me tell you, we call it productive pain because it opens the door to healing. And when healing opens the door to growth, and growth opens the door for you to be able to attract what you actually desire within your life. If you're not willing to go through the pain of letting go, then you can never release what's there to be able to open your hand to grab hold of something that's better and that's out there waiting for you. Let me tell you this, for everyone who's single out there, for everyone who's in a relationship that's not working, what you want and desire in a relationship, it exists out there. There is someone out there, multiple people out there, because I don't believe in this concept of the one, that there's one person who can ever meet all your needs. I believe there are multiple people out here who can meet your needs. But here's the thing, you can't grab hold to those people, rather it's romantic, rather it's professional. You can't grab hold of new relationships if you're holding on to relationships that no longer serve you anymore. So that's why I say letting go can be an act of self-love. And that was one of the lessons that I learned within this particular breakup, was that letting go can truly be an act of self-love, because ultimately the greatest act of self-love that you can ever do for yourself is to allow yourself to live within a space where you can be open to attracting the things that you want, need, and deserve. And so when I say letting go is an act of self-love, it's truly opening yourself up to get what you actually want, right? Understand that letting go is not about vilifying the person who couldn't meet your needs. I think that so many people waste so much energy vilifying and saying the ex was this, the ex was that, they did this to me, they did that to me. No, they didn't. They didn't do anything to you. They were who they were. You are who you are. You all came together at a time where, frankly, you all couldn't meet one another's needs in whatever ways, and you chose to part ways. Even if that person was terrible to you in some way, shapes, or forms, it wasn't about you. It wasn't about you, right? So when I say letting go is an act of self-love, it's a matter of saying, you know what? I love myself enough to let go so I can move on. I'm not going to vilify you. I'm not going to see you in a negative light. I'm not going to speak negative about you ever. But I'm going to love myself enough to let go so that I can go through the healing process that's going to open the door to my growth, that ultimately will open the door for me to get what I want. So to the viewer who wrote in, I hope that this is helpful for you. It's from my own life, you know. There are many, many, many more lessons that I'm more than happy to share with you all that come from, some of them come from my greatest victories, but some of them also come from the same type of heartbreaks that you have. You know, I go through the same things as you all, and I always want to let you all in to be able to understand that. That's one of the things I always do. You know, you see my video, Don't Go Broke, trying to impress people, where I was sitting there telling people about overspending and really just wasting money. I've shared so many parts of myself, and that really is the journey that I'm on, is to use my life as a platform to help other people who frankly can identify with my story and hopefully see some light at the end of the tunnel for themselves within the context of that. So if this topic is something that you identify with, if it's a topic that you like and enjoy, then what I want you to do is join my Success Circle online community. I'm doing weekly webinars. I got weekly webinars scheduled for the month of November. We got webinars for October too. We just got webinars where I'm really doing inspirational webinars like this, but on crack, okay? Well, you get where I'm going with that. It's a figure of speech, right? So I'm doing huge webinars where I'm giving tons and tons of advice from my own life. I'm bringing in guest speakers like Melissa Brown. I mean, you all know Melissa. She was incredible, right? I'm doing everything I can to be able to position you to experience success in your finances, in your relationships, in your spirit, in your relationship with yourself. I want you all to holistically live a beautiful and wonderful life. So what I want you to do right here today, right here on this thread, right here, I want you to go in here and I want you to write one of two things. It's up to you. I want you to either write in here, what is the greatest lesson that you've ever learned from a broken heart or from a relationship ending, right? So write that in here. And maybe you caused the broken heart. Write the lesson in here. Tell us the lessons too. It's all about sharing. And also what I want you all to write in here is for those of y'all who want me to be able to cover all these good topics, let me know what you want me to cover. Tell me what you want me to cover. What kind of topics should I be covering for you? I guarantee you, if you've been through it, I've been through it too, and I got a story to share with you about it, but you got to tell me what to pull from my vault. So go ahead and share that on here, all right? So let me tell you, I want to say hi to everybody. I see Denise. I see Jenkins. Who else is on here? Let me go ahead and click here. I see Marcel. Hey, Marcel, you late to the party, but you can go ahead and click backward. You can go ahead and scroll back to see it. I see Michelle, Francis, Ellis, as always. Francis, I love you to death, all right? Let me tell you that. I appreciate your support. She's a part of my Amen crew, the people who I see on every webinar. Katina, Brittany, I see you all. Issa, Nikki, I love it. Robin. All right, folks, I want y'all to join my online community. The link is either above this video or below this video, depending on your viewing device. Watch this video again, click like, click share, all right? And more importantly, make sure that you do whatever it takes to position yourself in relationships that truly serve you and that supports you in feeling and being your best. You deserve it, all right? You all have a great one, folks. All right, bye-bye.